Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Learn with Ravi. In my previous sessions we have done a couple of videos on percentages, ratios, equations, and in this video we will do a concept of simple and compound interest. I would make it two parts. The first part would be about simple interest and the second part would be about compound interest. So let's get started. Now let us start the video with the very first question. What is interest? Now what is interest? Interest is the extra amount obtained on the money you take or you lend. So we define the word interest as it is extra amount obtained on the principal value or the initial investment. So depending on the method of calculation, we can classify interest into two types. What is that? First one is simple interest, second one is compound interest. Now, let me give you a small example. For example, if you put an investment of 1 lakh as savings in a bank at the end of one financial year, you'll be getting back 1 lakh plus some extra value. Depending on the rate of interest the bank would give you, you'll be getting some extra money. So that extra money obtained in your saving account is called as interest. Similarly, when you take a loan, when you are repaying it back, you need to repay some extra amount on the loan amount you take. So that extra amount you pay it back is called as the interest amount. And how much you need to pay it back, and that depends on the method of calculating interest. So depending on the method of calculation, we have two types. One is simple, other is compound interest. Now, what are the terms involved in calculating interest? Whenever you want to find or calculate the interest, you need to consider few content, right? What are they? The first one is the amount to be invested, the amount you take as a loan or the amount you save, we call it as the principal value, and then the time in years t, the rate of interest, and the number of years. Keep in mind we calculate interest in terms of years, not in months. We'll see how to transform into months later, but for now keep in mind we have four terms: principal value, rate of interest, the time, and then the final amount. We get these four terms. Fine with that? Now what is the final amount? At the principal value plus the interest added, you get the final amount. And keep in mind you will be always calculating the time in years. Okay, so let's see how you differentiate simple and compound interest. Now, for example, take a principal amount of 10,000 for a time span of 3 years and the rate of interest is 10%. Now, how do you calculate interest? I'll give you a small classification on simple interest and compound interest with that example so that you'll have clarity. Clear with that? So, let us see how do you calculate simple interest. For first year, 10% of 10,000 would be 1000 rupees, as simple as it. And then in simple interest for second year, the same 10% of 10,000 will be again 1000 rupees, and for third year it is the same value of 1000. So at the end of 3 years, 10,000 at a rate of 10% will produce you 3000 extra amount. Now the final amount is 10,000 plus 3000, that would be 13,000. Now coming to compound interest. In compound interest for the first year, 10% of 10,000 is 1000 rupees, and here starts the issue. In second year we take the initial 10,000 and then we also take the initial previous interest obtained for first year, but it's 10,000 plus 1000, and here we calculate interest on 10,000. We also calculate interest on interest, so it is 1000 plus 100, that becomes 1100. So what do you observe here? You observe that you are calculating interest on interest. Now for third year, what do you find? In third year we take the previous amount of 11,000 rupees and then the previous interest of rupees 110. I mean, yes or no, that 1100 rupees. So 11,000 plus 1100 will give you an interest of rupees 1210. Now please try to differentiate simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest gave you rupees 3000, compound interest gave you rupees 3310. Yes or no? So the difference between SI and CI is, in SI for n years the interest value remains the same, but in compound interest, as we calculate interest on interest, the interest value changes every year or every tenure. So this is the basic difference between SI and CI. As we calculate interest on interest, we call it as compound interest. Keep that in mind. So you observe that the final amount which you get in simple interest is 13,000 rupees, whereas the final amount in compound interest is rupees 13,310 rupees. So simple interest and compound interest are not the same. You observe that they are same for the first year. For the first year, SI gave you 1,000 rupees, CI also gave you 1,000 rupees. Now let us step into the concepts of simple interest. Now we observe that the interest at the end of 3 years was rupees 3,000, isn't it? Now you can write this 3,000 as 3 into 1,000. Why you wrote as 3 into 1,000? Because from my calculations I observed that 1,000 is the interest obtained on 10,000, isn't it? So that 1,000 is 10% of 10,000. Now I can write 10% as 10 upon 100, isn't it? Now it becomes 3 into 10 upon 100 into 10,000. Now I shuffle them. I get 10,000 into 3 into 10 by 100. Now I'll give you a generalized formula for that. So that is how you get SI is equals to P into T into R by 100. So whenever you ask a student of class 7th or 8th what is SI, he'll give only SI is PTR by 100. How, we do not know. But from the example on the screen, you observe that we make the concept of PTR by 100 from the interest obtained. As you know P, as you know T, as you know R, you calculate interest by multiplying those values and dividing it by 100. So SI is PTR by 100. Now from that you get new formula saying that P is 100 into SI upon TR and T is 100 into SI upon PR and R is 100 into SI upon PT. People give n number of formulae, but the basic fundamental formula is SI is equals to PTR by 100. Clear with that? So this is how we begin with the concept of simple interest. So going ahead, once you get the interest, we get the final amount by adding that interest to the principal value. So amount is principal plus interest. So A is equals to P plus PTR by 100. Doing that simple math, taking out P common, you get A is equals to P into 1 plus TR by 100. For different P1, T1, R1, you get different A1. For different P2, T2, R2, you get A2. So dividing them, you get A1 upon A2 equals to P1 into 100 plus T1 R1 upon 100 P2 times 100 plus T2 R2. So keeping T constant, keeping R constant, you get different terms, or keeping P constant. People deduce a number of formulae from this basic fundamental thing. So keep in mind we have only two formulae. The first one is SI is PTR by 100 and amount is principal plus interest. So the more you plug in values, the more you make terms constant, you get different terms. So going ahead, now let us see the concept in NSI. So an amount P at a rate of interest R becomes n times itself. Clear? Some initial amount P at a rate of interest R became n times itself after some time of t years. Yes or no? Now what is the relation between this P, R, N and T? So P became NP. So now what is the interest? Interest will be NP minus P, that is n minus 1 times P, isn't it? So correlating N, R and T, you get T is equals to n minus 1 upon R into 100. So this is the relation between N, T, R. So shuffling them, you get R equals to n minus 1 times T into 100. So once you are given the initial principal and the final amount, depending on your R, we calculate T. Depending on your T, we calculate R. For example, you see that an amount becomes 9 times itself in 12 years. We do not know the amount. He said an amount became 9 times itself. So P became 9P in 12 years. Now you want to calculate the rate of interest. So plug in the value. R equals to n minus 1 times T into 100. So the value of n is 9, T is 12. So R becomes 9 minus 1 upon 12 into 100. That is, the value is 66.66%. So this is how we calculate R based on NT, T based on NR, N based on T and R. So you have three terms which are correlated. Out of these three, any two will be given to you. Plug in the values, get the output. In this concept, if P becomes n times itself at a rate of r% in t1 years, and the same p becomes m times itself in t2 years at the same rate of interest r. Then now how do you relate all these things? How do you relate n, p, t1, t2? So you write it as t2 equals to m minus 1 upon n minus 1 times t1. So P became NP in T1 years, P became M times P in T2 years. Now the relation between M, N, T1, T2 is M minus 1 times N minus 1 times T2. We'll see a small example. An amount became 4 times itself in 12 years at simple interest. Then in how many years will it become? 16 times itself at the same rate of interest. Now using common sense, given n value is 4, t1 is 12, given m value is 16, now he is asking us t2. So plug in the value of m, n and t1, the answer would be 16 minus 1 upon 4 minus 1 times 12, and that comes down to 60 years. 15 by 3 is 5, 5 times 12 is 60. So this is how you calculate the time based on your m, n values. So you have 4 terms here. Out of these 4 terms, any 3 will be given to you, and you can plug in the values there and get the outputs. As simple as it. Clear with that? Now let us see some small examples. A sum of money was invested at a certain rate for 3 years. Has it been invested 4% higher rate, it would have fetched some extra amount. So what do you observe there? We do not know the rate of interest. So call the rate of interest by and the principal be x, given time as 3 years. Now he says that instead of y, if it has been y plus 4, then it would have fetched extra 480 more. So y plus 4 interest and the interest obtained on y, the difference is rupees 480, isn't it? So the difference of the interest with y plus 4 and y will give you 480. So plug in the values and you will find the value of p to be rupees 4000. Please do not complicate things, it is simple. Read the question carefully. When you compare the interest with y and with y plus 4, he says we got 480 extra. So subtract the interest equal to 480, get the principal value x. Clear with that? So moving ahead, let us see the alternate approach of solving the same question. In the question, he said that the excess money obtained is for 3 years at a rate of 4% per annum, isn't it? So it is 12% of the principal amount is the excess money. So equating it, 12% of money is 480. So what is 100% now? 100% would be rupees 4000. In this example, you observe that a person borrowed rupees 2500 for from two money lenders, amount at a rate of 8%, for the other he paid 6% per annum. Clear? So on the whole, the money taken is rupees 2500. Now the question is, if he paid on the whole an amount of rupees 180 as interest for 1 year only, then find the amount taken at 8% per annum. Now we know that the amount taken at 8% per annum is x. Assume it. Not we know that. Okay. Assume that the amount taken at 8% be x. The time is 1 year. Then what do you get? X times 8 times 1 upon 100, PTR by 100, isn't it? Plus the total amount is 2500. Out of that, x amount is for 8. So the remaining amount will be 2500 minus 8 minus x. That is 2500 minus x into 6 into 1 upon 100 is rupees 180. So from this, we get the value of x is rupees 1500. Now the question is, for how much money did he borrow at 8% per annum? In this example, he is giving us a problem where you found to find the difference between the principal at 5% for 3 years and 4% for 4 years. So again the same story. What do you find? It is PTR by 100, and keep in mind the difference is always positive, isn't it? So P times T times R upon 100, difference PTR upon 100, the difference is rupees 5. So obviously you find that the difference is 5 at different rate of interest at different time periods. These are the basic models found in simple interest. We'll learn more examples in the upcoming videos. That's for now. Don't forget to put your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll be always ready to share my thoughts and help you out. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you now.